Recently, I saw Demi Moore's video of Bruce Willis's birthday party, and my eyes caught a glaring mistake that they might be making as a family. And in this video, I will point out what is that mistake and why I think it's a big mistake. And at the end, I will also speculate a little bit on the possible cause of the acceleration of Bruce's decline. And by the way, I'm a caregiver myself. My mom has dementia and Alzheimer's symptoms. She doesn't know who I am, for example. So this video is not to make fun of the situation. This video is just to raise awareness and to provide my commentary based on my own experience. So let's watch Demi Moore's video together.
Happy birthday, dear
Just like that dog.
Happy birthday to you.
There you go. So I think that is the glaring mistake, the cake. Now, I realize that a birthday party without a cake is kind of a sad birthday party. I kind of agree with that. But I'm assuming that because they're giving Bruce this kind of food right now in this video and in this occasion, I will make the assumption that probably he's eating a lot of sugars and refined carbohydrates every day. So I just posted a video on this topic. I will put the link down in the description if you want to watch it. But here is a quick recap of the why this is a problem. So the brain of people affected with dementia and Alzheimer's symptoms is a damaged brain with impaired glucose metabolism, which means that the brain cannot use glucose properly as a fuel to produce energy. So when these people eat sugar and refined carbohydrates, a few things happen. One, the blood glucose rises, insulin rises. The high blood glucose causes damage to all our tissues. And specifically now we're talking about our brain. It causes damage to our brain, thus inflammation. So it further damaged the brain. Second, the high insulin means that their body switches to a metabolic state in which their body cannot produce ketones out of the oxidation of fats. And the ketones are an alternative fuel for the brain. But if they keep eating sugars and carbs, they cannot produce them. So their brain is starving. At the end of the day, this means they keep damaging their brain, making things worse, and they're starving their cells, their mitochondria. So they cannot produce all the energy that our brain needs to function. And this is pretty tough on the caregivers. So let's check the impact on his wife, for example. His wife is, in this article, is telling to the paparazzis, please don't be yelling at my husband. Yeah, so these people are very sensitive. I can imagine the situation of a celebrity going out and the paparazzi is yelling and saying, hey, Bruce, look here, and whatever, asking questions. And he's not himself anymore and he cannot process all this confusion. So let's review together some comments from her. I empathize with her so much.
Okay, excuse my appearance. It's a Saturday. I just woke up. So in service of raising awareness around dementia, because that is my goal, if you are someone that is looking after someone with dementia, you know how difficult and stressful it can be to get someone out into the world and just to navigate them safely, even just to get a cup of coffee. And I'm just seeing headlines, and there's a video of my husband out getting some coffee with some friends that did a stand-up job with protecting him. And
Yeah, so it's tough. I feel her so much. It's really tough on the family and all the people that are around the person with this condition. Here's another little piece of information that I found. Bruce Willis's mom thinks the actor doesn't recognize her. So the famous actor suffers from frontotemporal dementia, And Bruce Willis' mom revealed that the actor no longer recognizes her. The famous actor's mother told how difficult it has been to see her son's health deteriorate and that it is increasingly difficult to have a conversation with him. Yes, I understand this very much. My mom does not recognize me. She doesn't know who I am. She has accepted that I'm her son, but she doesn't know. So if I ask her to describe me when I was born, our life together, she doesn't know. She doesn't remember. She thinks that somebody kidnapped me when I was a kid. When I was born, somebody just took me away and I was gone. So that's how she's processing the fact that I'm here, that I'm telling her that I'm her son, and she doesn't know who I am. But it looks like Bruce's condition is deteriorating pretty quickly. And while I think that sugars and high refined carbohydrates are definitely one of the main culprits in his case, I think there is another one, and this is total speculation on my part. I have no proof. I have found no medical records. I don't know. But I'm willing to speculate that Bruce has probably been taking for a while now statin medications. And why do I say that? Statin medications are medications to lower cholesterol. And they're probably the number one tool we have as a modern society to fight against heart disease. Because cholesterol. Here's why I think this is a problem. The total cholesterol that we have in our body is actually produced by our liver for the most part. Our liver, our body, produces it and it tightly regulates its production. And why is our liver producing all this cholesterol? Cholesterol is a vital substance in our body. For example, all the membranes of our cells are made out of cholesterol. We need a lot of cholesterol to maintain and repair all our cells, trillions of cells. All the steroid hormones are made out of cholesterol. Without cholesterol, we cannot produce the steroid hormones: testosterone, estrogen, progesterone, cortisol, vitamin D. Vitamin D is vital for so many functions in our body, but especially for our brain. No cholesterol, no steroid hormones. Cholesterol is needed to produce bile, to digest fats. The myelin sheath that protects all our nerves, it's kind of an insulation of our nerves, is made out of fat and cholesterol. We need a lot of cholesterol to maintain and repair that. And in particular, the nerves are carrying the electrical signals within our brain and throughout our body. So a damaged myelin sheath will cause brain malfunction. And then cholesterol also plays an important role in our immune system. So our immune system is the tool that our body has to fight against disease, injuries, and insults to our body. Cholesterol is an integral part of that. So, what do statins do? Statins basically tell our liver stop or diminish greatly the production of cholesterol. So, imagine that. We take a pill to tell our body, our liver, to stop producing a substance that our body wants to produce for many reasons. And because cholesterol is vital for so many things in our body, lowering the cholesterol has so many side effects. Let me pick on Crestor. I mean, there are many statins, so it's not like only this one. But I did just a quick search and I found this. First of all, it's ridiculous that they put this smiley face in this page, the side effects, because when you read the side effects, then you will not be smiling anymore. Liver problems, feel unusually tired or weak, loss of appetite, upper belly pain, dark urine, yellowing of your skin or the whites of your eyes, headache, muscle aches and pains, abdominal pain, weakness, and nausea. Additional side effects that have been reported with Crestor include memory loss and confusion. And then elevated blood sugar levels have been reported with statins. Let's check also Mayo Clinic. Muscle pain and damage, liver damage, increased blood sugar or type 2 diabetes, and then neurological side effects. The FDA warns on statin labels that some people have developed memory loss or confusion while taking statins. These side effects reverse once you stop taking the medication. There is limited evidence to prove blah, blah, blah. Obviously, they have to protect their they cannot say it. But so this is a quite sensitive topic to discuss. But and this is again total speculation on my part. I'm not saying that Bruce Willis is taking statins, and I'm not saying that that's the reason. Given what I understood and what I showed you about cholesterol, the suspicion is high. Let's put it this way. Now, if you search online, you will find information pro and information against statins, or even neutral to statins. So This topic is very difficult to navigate because if you say something, there is research that says exactly the opposite, and vice versa. So it's a big mess. So, a big reason why I have this suspicion is because my mom had the same problem, or at least here's what I pieced together after the facts, because when it was happening, I didn't realize, I didn't even know all these things that I know now. But at a certain point, a few years ago, like 5, 6 years ago, the family doctor of my mom checked her blood. And what did he find? High LDL cholesterol. And what did he do? Prescribed statins. Up until that moment, my mom was in her mid 80s, and she arrived at that point in great physical condition and in pretty decent mental condition. She was definitely doing some damage because she is a sugar addict, but she got to that point in pretty good conditions. When she started taking the statins, or at least this is my reconstruction of all the events, her health overall started declining pretty quickly. She fell a few times. She had to be transported to the ER and have stitches to her head. Very dangerous. She had pain all over her body. She couldn't lift her arms anymore. And she started showing signs of decline. Again, we didn't realize it at the moment. We just thought, oh, she's getting old and blah, 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 all the stuff that we think. No, it, some signs were, for example, that hygiene and the care of herself was lacking. It was unusually lacking. She wasn't cooking anymore. She would forget things more easily. She would have some unexplained panic attacks. Maybe she didn't find her keys in her bag. Big disaster, a big panic attack, crying. So all these things started happening after she started taking statins. And then at the beginning of last year, her family doctor retired. We had to find a new doctor. And this new doctor, as the first action that he took on my mom was remove the statins. He didn't give any explanation, but he removed the statins. Thank God. There are many causes of this disease. I think because of the way we live in the modern society, sugar and refined carbohydrates are one of the big culprits. But I also think that things like statins, for example, might interfere with our body and might cause an acceleration of the problem. And what about you? Are you a caregiver? Do you know anybody with dementia or Alzheimer's disease? Do they eat a lot of sugars and carbohydrates? Are they always looking for sweets and stuff like that? Do they take statins? Do you know? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear your experience. All right. Until the next video. Bye now.